Give me the rage!
So Stray Kids is a boy group consisting of 9 boys ranging ages 17 to 20 years old. They were all handpicked by the leader of the group, and they're under JYP Entertainment. We'll be reacting to their official debut called District 9. The song has a theme of figuring out their identity, embracing differences, and finding a place where they can be themselves without judgment, aka their District 9. The song is created, produced, composed by the rapper Changbin, the vocalist Han Ji-sung, and the leader Bang Chan, and the songwriter called Trippy.
Get ready. Are you pumped and ready? I'm psyched! Okay.
District 9!
3, 2, 1! Nice. Beep, 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 beep.
Morse code? SOS!
Fun fact, I'm related to the person who invented Morse code.
That's interesting. They're
Whoa.
making rhythm with found sounds.
Oh wow, that was different than I thought it was gonna be. That was gonna be like but it's
Yes! This guy's voice is so cool sounding.
I feel like I'm being yelled at.
Ooh, those real drums.
What? Whoa. I love there's like a crunchy guitar.
I like the idea of singing a couple of notes and then rapping for the rest of that chorus line. That's a really brilliant idea and it works really well here.
He's so deep sounding.
yeah.
This is like the Harlem Shake section of this song. Oh, yeah, it's like. Oh, I really like that they're like still keeping that in, even though they're like now singing.
It's cool because it's an alarm bell, but they've changed the rhythm for it to sound like part of the song. But like if you just let it go without like the rhythm, it would just sound like a prison alarm bell. He's so good.
Yes. If anybody likes this rapper, go check out Childish Gambino.
I like that the extra half measure as we figured it out in the other video, but like before the chorus, it just cushions it a little bit. Clears you for it.
He has such a deep voice and I just never expected, but I love it.
Yeah, because like
I love it!
one out of like 80 K-pop musicians have deep voices.
I said it. I'm a sucker for baritone.
Whoa, okay. That's so interesting. They finally like enter into a new part of the song, and it's right when they've like broken out of their weird like prisoner hellscape.
Yeah, and the rhythm is slower when they.
Texture changes. It's very much like an interesting progression. Not harmonic progression, but just like the way that the video and the song is working.
Fire? Dude, this is awesome. We got fire, we got awesome raps, we got a rock and roll lament bass. Everything is great.
This is like, I like how with the bass drum they like move the thing, like it like shakes a little sometimes.
Well, you can tell that it's not exactly harmonically interested because the chorus is like one note, just it's about the rhythm.
All about that pentatonic, the minor third and perfect fifths. About it.
Shards in the club. I can't find her. She's District 9. Her loins.
On fire! Ooh, I'm so pleased.
Oh, that's a clip.
Yeah, so what did you think of that song musically?
I hated it. I'm kidding.
No, but it was good though. Like I said, it had all the ingredients
Like,
that makes like a good what they were trying to go for.
Like the triplets, the 3 against 2.
Yeah, a lot of it was like the rhythmic intensity. You know, like it was just like something. was
When
always,
you
like,
play with
happening.
rhythm and you do it well, this is what you get.
Rhythmically, it was really complex with the rhyme. The sound effects were really cool. They manipulated things that were going on in the video, like the alarm bell and the police sirens, into like rhythmic components of the song. And the rapping was more than just triple, 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 ba 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 ba. It was like actually had a pulse and varied rhythms, and interesting to listen to. The video was really cool. They did a lot of like fun camera effects. It was just a really solid video.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think the intensity, because you know, if there's not necessarily like the wildest of harmonies, if there's the wildest of rhythm accompanied by unique sounds in like kind of the scene, I think it ends up speaking for itself. So yeah, you nailed it.
I actually think rhythm is one of the more interesting things you can do with music, personally. I mean, you know, there's only so many chords. But
It's true.
I really liked how in the very beginning they took like found sounds like alarms and other sounds and then created a rhythm out of those. Like I think there was a dial tone as well, and they used those sounds to create the rhythm. So it wasn't just let's have a drum, let's have a synthesized bass. It was how can we make this rhythmically interesting with lots of different sounds. So like you were saying, the texture changes a lot in this piece. And so, you know, you really notice when the sound changes. I think that's really cool.
For sure.
The rhythm of the raps.
Yeah.
There were some moments when
Goosh, 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 goosh.
when they were just dealing out.
Yeah.
And they were going really, really fast, putting it on all of these off beats. Just made it really, really interesting to listen to.
And the melodies were solid, you knew what you were listening to, and then also the weird 8, the da 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 da.
Yeah.
That was
Could you
dope.
think of that as 8/8? I don't know.
You could. I was going along 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, but it really felt more like da 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 da, which kept that driving motion going forwards. It'd been fun if they put it in 7. 1, 2, 3, 4.
That was so good.
That was real rad.
You knew I was gonna like that, didn't you?
That was, wow. I liked that one very much.
Yeah.
What'd you like about it?
It was
So hype.
It was very hype. It was
So
and it was I mean, I don't know anything about the language, but I felt like they really like used it super well in the rap of that song. And I don't know, you know, like when you listen to American rap sometimes like they'll do kind of play on words and stuff like that, and I don't know if they did that, but I feel like they did, and that's all I have.
Yeah, I know we've like people in the past have talked about how like Korean sounds really good in rap, just like the nature of the language.
Heavy consonances.
Yeah, so it's like very cool, and I think they really took that and utilized it well in this, and they had, honestly, I feel like a lot of the rhythmic stuff was fairly predictable, but then they threw in enough little like things that were like what, that it like kept it interesting the whole time, even though it did have a lot of repetition and stuff, and then I liked that siren thingy.
You know, there are a few like K-pop rap songs where you can hear everyone, they know how their voices sound, and even when they're adding just fillers in between the post-choruses, you can tell they're using the inflections of their voice to their full extent. They better watch out! And the next thing you hear is do-do-do-do-do. And it's a contrast, it's just so good. It's so good.
Goodness. I wanted to talk about rap actually, because it's just the aspect of taking someone and taking what they're good at and just putting them with the line, or like it's the right pitch so they can maximize. A lot of the rapping was just like, you don't feel any discomfort, and you're just like, oh, it's so smooth sailing, and then they're running it, and I love it. It's so great in that aspect. With the beats, they're so diverse. There's like I guess there's the sirens, like there's like it goes from E to F. They kind of float around. And then there's the E drone. What was it? Yeah, it was E. It was just pounding out, and it's very interesting because like something that's a drone it can be very annoying. That's very for sure. But the way they do it is just it keeps the rhythm, and then everything else is just so flourishing. Like it's so nicely done with the rap, the melodies, and all the little embellishments that they add, like random. Like I don't know. I feel like it's like the straw effect. Like they just blow into a straw or a tube, and it creates that it's like dubstep. Kind of like
there is a dubstep vibe to that.
Dubstep vibe. It's so
and you gotta love that little organ synth string. This quiet, distant, that bridge. And none of the beats are particularly complex either. It's not, but it just seems like there's a lot of variety because they know how to bring things down or bring things up.
Bridge. That was actually good.
Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. If you're new, I'm the channel runner and producer of this series. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you're curious to see what else we're going to react to in the future, go ahead and check the description for a bunch of links that I have to playlists and schedules. Also, please check our Patreon if you want to support us. Patrons get access to unedited, full-length reaction videos, access to exclusive content, as well as early access to all the videos posted on here, and more. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.